Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Kenyans, good evening. In the past few days, a pastor in our nation chose to criticize the Luo community for celebrating their inclusion in government, even if it is only 2 cabinet secretaries. His words were careless, artful, and unnecessary. But today, we will respond with dignity, clarity, and truth. First, let it be known, no community in Kenya needs permission to celebrate representation. If one Luo is appointed, that is good enough for us. If one Costarian rises, that is good enough for us. One post for a Luya is enough for us. Because if you give Luyas peace and chicken, they will solve national problems before lunch. If one Kisii gets a post, that too is enough for us. For we believe in the equitable distribution of the national cake. We believe in fairness. We are not greedy, we are not selfish, and we are not driven by your anger to dominate. We understand that Kenya is a multi-ethnic society, and every community, big or small, has a right to exist, to be represented, and to be respected. Let no one twist this truth. The Luo community celebrating 2 cabinet secretaries does not make them desperate. It does not make them naive. It does not make them small. It shows that they understand national unity, not tribal entitlement, and history has recorded this clearly. Raila Amolo Odinga, Baba, did not fight for the Luos alone. He fought for all marginalized communities. He fought for justice, democracy, equity, and dignity for every Kenyan, from Turkana to Taveta, from Mandera to Migori. He carried this struggle for decades, giving his entire life to it, and it drained him, wore him down, and eventually took him from us at a tender age. That is why his passing brought sorrow across the entire nation, because he belonged to all of us. To suggest that Luos should not celebrate 2 CS positions is to erase everything Baba stood for. It is to misunderstand his legacy. When it comes to political ideology and national unity, we follow Baba's example and not the reckless opinions of strangers. Remember this, Baba had the power to appoint 5 Luos if he wished, but he knew better. He chose national balance because he understood Kenya. He understood fairness. He understood that leadership is not about taking everything for yourself, but ensuring everyone has a place. So when Luos celebrate 2 CS posts, it is not because they are happy with little. No. It is because they were raised well. They understand manners, dignity, patience, and the value of sharing space with others. Demanding more posts at the expense of other tribes is not our way. Respecting diversity is, and let us remember that in the year after, when nations and peoples are judged before God, every community shall be judged according to its deeds, including the Luo nation. Not to shame, but as a call to accountability, compassion, and service to all. The sentiments expressed by that man of the cloth are therefore reckless, unfortunate, and unworthy of the pulpit. The pulpit should unite, not divide. It should heal, not provoke. It should bless, not belittle communities. And now, let us speak plainly about fairness. If we were to apply true equity, every community in Kenya would have 1 cabinet secretary position, and the rest of the roles, including principal secretaries and key state appointments, would be shared proportionately among the remaining communities. That is fairness. That is inclusivity. That is Kenya. Let us also set the record straight. We supported the broad-based government long before the state burial and long before the political noise. We supported unity because it is right, not because we were forced into it. Kenyans, let us never allow careless voices, whether from politics or the pulpit, to rewrite our history or to poison our unity. We are one people. We celebrate each other, we lift each other, and we will continue to demand fairness for every community, not just our own. Because this is Kenya, a nation of many tribes, but one destiny. God bless you, God bless every community, and God bless the Republic of Kenya.
Amen.
Museveni and the Indian Ocean.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, fellow East Africans, and all citizens who were enjoying their day until President Museveni decided to stand up, clear his throat, and threaten war because, apparently, he wants the Indian Ocean. Listen up. We have heard the careless utterances of the President of Uganda, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Utterances so careless that even our jellyfish felt offended. He threatened us with imminent war simply because he wants access to the Indian Ocean, even claiming the ocean belongs to him. Now, our very busy President Ruto should have addressed this matter, but don't worry. Kenya has delegated the task to its able citizens. We can handle it. Let us therefore start with common sense. Museveni cannot carry the ocean back to Kampala in a jerrycan. So the only way to own the waters will be what? To take Kenya or a part of it through war. My brother, even Google Map is confused. And since Museveni insists on coming down to a narcissistic level, let us descend together. We warn him that no girl is born with a big forehead. It only grows later in life when she starts demanding other people's money urgently. Likewise, no country wakes up and demands someone else's ocean unless something somewhere has expanded unexpectedly. Your Excellency, that Indian Ocean is ours until the fast approaching second coming of Christ. Even John the Baptist cannot mediate this one. Now yes, the scriptures warn us that in the last days there shall be wars and rumors of war. But Uganda starting a war with Kenya is a classical example of an ant climbing onto an elephant with the ambition of raping it. Ambition is good, but let us remain realistic. Museveni should not imagine bombing us. Kenya is in possession of the Israeli-made missile interceptor system, the Iron Dome, something Uganda cannot afford, not even in installments or M-Pesa lipa polepole. Museveni suffers from the entitlement of a spoiled child. We negotiated Migingo Island with him, but on the ocean, are non-negotiable. We will take you head-on. Uganda is not the only landlocked country on planet Earth, and the UN already laid down channels for landlocked states to access ports. You follow that. Not threats, not tantrums, not claiming oceans. If Museveni tries us, we shall snatch Uganda and share it equally with Tanzania like chapati on a Sunday afternoon. And speaking of age, it is a scientific fact that past 90 years, a man begins to slow down with his IQ shrinking to the size of a teaspoon. The old must respect the young, as written in the scriptures. A wise man knows not to urinate against the wind, but old Museveni seems determined to create a backdoor even where none exists. Malcolm X warned us about such behavior long ago. And speaking of warnings, Proverbs 26:3 says, a whip for the horse, a bridle for the donkey, and a rod for a fool's back. We will not apply the rod hastily, but the verse is worth meditating on. Museveni must therefore come out to apologize faster than immediately, quicker than urgently, sooner than soon, because though Rome wasn't destroyed in a day, Uganda is not Rome. We remind His Excellency, we are peaceful people. We prefer diplomacy, we prefer jokes, but we also possess the ultimate weapon of mass destruction. Deploy them, and your presidency will expire before the ocean dries. And to conclude, let us borrow from Sun Tzu that he who knows when to fight and when not to fight shall be victorious. Uganda should take notes because Kenya already graduated. God bless Kenya, God bless East Africa, and God bless the Indian Ocean, which is exactly where it will remain.
Amen.
Amen. Bayo and the state of our healthcare. Today, we mourn the untimely passing of a talented artist, Bety Bayo. Her voice, her artistry, and her spirit touch many across this nation, and her loss leaves a deep void in our hearts. But as we grieve, we must also reflect on the circumstances surrounding her death, circumstances that are deeply troubling and demand urgent attention. Reports indicate that Bayo could not be admitted promptly at AAR Hospital because she did not have Kenyan shillings 200,000 for a down payment. Even at Kenyatta National Hospital, there were delays in her admission. Let us be clear. No Kenyan should have to choose between life and the ability to pay upfront for care. No talent, no child, no mother, no citizen should face barriers to life-saving treatment because of money. This tragedy exposes gaps in our healthcare system. 1. Access inequality. Life-saving care should not depend on the size of one's bank account. 2. Administrative delays. Even public hospitals, meant to be accessible to all, struggle with bureaucratic processes that cost precious time. 3. Emergency preparedness. Hospitals must be ready to admit and treat patients immediately, especially when lives are at stake. It is our plea, therefore, to medics to interact with their patients with love and empathy. Those lacking empathy should stay away from the profession and consider joining the police service instead. Master the Hippocratic oath like the Lord's Prayer and let compassion guide every decision, every action, and every bedside interaction. We must ask ourselves, how many more Kenyans will suffer because they cannot pay? How many more talented lives will be lost to delays that could be prevented? This is a wake-up call to our government, to health institutions, and to every stakeholder. We need universal access to emergency care. We need systems that prioritize lives over payment. We need better coordination between private and public hospitals to ensure critical cases are handled without delay. To the family and friends of Bayo, we grieve with you. Our music will live on and our legacy will inspire change. Let us honor our memory by demanding an healthcare system where no Kenyan dies because they cannot meet a hospital's deposit. A Kenya where life is valued over paperwork. A Kenya where the next Bayo is given the chance to live, thrive, and inspire. May our soul rest in peace, and may our laws ignite the reforms our healthcare system desperately needs. Thank you. Geoffrey Mosiria. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, enemies of progress, and those with nothing better to do, greetings. Today, we gather here to celebrate the promotion of our beloved Geoffrey Mosiria, a man who has risen through the ranks from Katibu wa Mazingira, Gatuzila, Nairobi, to the newly created, extremely lucrative and spiritually fulfilling position of Customer Care Officer. A position where the job description is simple. Smile even when life is beating you like a rented drum. Geoffrey's downfall was not witchcraft and certainly not haters. He simply forgot the golden rule of survival. Never outshine your master. But our brother aimed higher than a giraffe's anus, a zone so elevated that even Goliath would ask for a ladder. I'll repeat that. But our brother aimed higher than a giraffe's anus, a zone so elevated that even Goliath would ask for a ladder. At first, he was doing well, very well, until he made the fatal political mistake. He turned his guns on the Kenyan pole dancers and Mariah Careys, the daughters of Jezebel, women who perform a service more ancient, more respected, more historically documented than the pyramids of Giza. You don't just insult them, no, unless you have the spirit of Elijah. And you must understand, these women serve critical national interests. Without them, the number of lonely men roaming the streets aimlessly like spiritual refugees will triple. Kenya's emotional GDP would collapse. The country would be forced to declare a national disaster. But Geoffrey, God bless him, forgot. Now, as fate would have it, the man has become a TikTok superstar overnight. And we say to him, do not despair. In fact, congratulations. You now have all the time, freedom and Wi-Fi to tap, to collect virtual roses, to train for TikTok monetization, and even to work live at midnight without fearing memos, suspension, or HR breathing down your neck. My friends, what occurred here is simple. Our brother suffered a fatal case of prima donna syndrome, the disease of believing you are Beyoncé in a choir full of interns. In the end, he learned that the ancient wisdom we all must accept as adults, that power is temporary as an erection, strong for a moment, confused shortly after, and finally depressed. So let us clap for him, let us cheer for him, let us celebrate his transition from environmental secretary to customer care specialist, and soon, perhaps, to full-time TikTok influencer. Because in Kenya, anything is possible, especially demotions. Thank you, and God bless Gatuzi la Nairobi. Asanteni sana.